Welcome back to our Knights of the Old Republic loreplay series. Last time we found our first star map, as well as the locations of 4 more, which we're going to need to complete the map. Hey, The Force Awakens! KOTOR did the missing map bit first! The Jedi Council decided this mission was best left in the hands of a Padawan, so we're off to Tatooine to find our next clue. We land in Anchorhead, which means that city Luke mentions in A New Hope is at least 4,000 years old. It was actually one of the very first settlements on the planet set as a mining outpost by the HK-47. The sandcrawlers we see the Jawas use were actually brought here for the purpose of mining. But transportation costs were high, so when companies like Zerka abandoned their operations, they would simply leave their equipment for the Jawas to scavenge. The process of settlement and abandonment was repeated multiple times in Anchorhead's history, but by the time of the Galactic Empire, it had been settled again, and was the home of Tashi Station. But in the here and now, Anchorhead is under the control of the HK-47. They were not so secretly allied with the Sith during the Jedi Civil War, and we'll be running into them for the rest of the game. They're currently having trouble with the Tusken Raiders, so we offer to take care of that problem, and in exchange, they let us leave the city. But we're gonna need a little help with the Tusken Raider language, so we need to find a droid. The HK-47 is actually canon thanks to Star Wars Uprising, Aftermath, and Ultimate Star Wars. Chuck Wendig, the author of Aftermath, seems to be a big fan of the Knights of the Old Republic content. If you'll remember back quite a few episodes, he also included Terrace in 2 of the Aftermath books, and he has a connection with a character we're about to meet. This is HK-47, but hopefully he needs no introduction. He's kind of a groundbreaking droid in Star Wars. Before K-2SO was in Rogue One, before 000 was in the Darth Vader comic, and before Mr. Bones in the Aftermath trilogy, HK-47 was the original droid with attitude and a penchant for violence. This droid is Chuck Wendig's favorite character in Star Wars, and he originally wrote HK into the first Aftermath book as part of an interlude, but the Lucasfilm story group turned the idea down. Hopefully the reason for that is because they have future plans for the character. But to tie this all back to the HK-47, HK-47 was designed after Zerka's HK-24 assassin droid model. But 47 received extensive upgrades from his maker, Revan. He was originally built to assassinate political targets, so Revan would never have to repeat something like the devastation he caused on Malachor V. HK was on a mission in Mandalorian space when Revan was betrayed by Darth Malak. The droid was damaged on his mission and was forcibly put into the service of a Mandalorian. With no other master, he was passed around for months until he wound up here on Tatooine. I actually came to Tatooine first just so I could have HK-47 as soon as possible. I'm trying to play this game largely light side, but I'm willing to get some dark side points for HK. He brings out the best and the worst in me. Now that we have him, we can communicate with Tusken Raiders, so let's head out into the desert. And the first thing that happens is we run into some lady who can't wait to tell us about how she's gonna murder her husband. Who does that? He's not even far away, he's right there calling for help, you whack job. So this guy says his wife reprogrammed his droids to shoot him if he moves.
Commentary. I say we blast the meatbag and save you the trouble, Master.
That line that HK says right there is why I'm even doing this little side quest. Because in Aftermath Empire's End, Mr. Bones says this line verbatim as a little nod to HK. I thought that was a nice touch.
I say leave him.
Whoa, Bastila! HK's attitude I get, but why do you want to just leave this guy here? We don't know what he did to deserve this. You cold, Bastila. Ice cold. Okay, back to the mission at hand. Again, I'm going light side here, so I want to sneak into the Tusken Raider camp for negotiations. To do that, we need Tusken Raider clothes. To get those, we need to kill some Tusken Raiders. Hooray, light side! But they did attack first. According to Legends history, Tusken Raiders are descended from a race known as the Kumonga, who once built great cities all over Tatooine back when it was a planet full of life. They achieved space travel and caught the attention of the Rakata, the same species that built the Starforge and the star maps. We aren't really supposed to know that yet, but it's too interesting to not talk about now. The Rakata tried to enslave the Kumonga, and they weren't having it. They rebelled against the Rakata, who responded with an orbital bombardment that turned the planet to sand. Over time, the Kumonga evolved into 2 separate species, the Jawas and the Tusken Raiders. After a successful negotiation that involves running back and forth across the desert, the chieftain tells us where the star map is, in the cave of a krayt dragon. If you watched my Dark Forces lore play, I made some jokes about kill dragons and how they're punks compared to krayt dragons. These things are massive, and you can see the skeleton of one in A New Hope. In order to access its cave, we nobly lure it into a trap and then blow it up. Hooray, light side! Inside is our star map, left behind by the Rakata back when they ruled this world, which means we are done here. Except we can't leave yet because Kalo Nord has tracked us down from Terrace. What a shock! We thought he was dead! Actually, I just skipped a cutscene with him in it earlier to preserve the massive plot twist. Last time he didn't put up much of a fight, and guess what? He doesn't here either. Now he's dead. So let's get off this rock. Hey, how about that? We got through an entire planet in only one video. I know there's more I could do here, side quests and all, but let's face it, Tatooine has enough screen time. It's in 5 movies. 6 if you count Jakku, because come on, that's just Tatooine with debris. But hey, thanks for watching today. The KOTOR lore play will return next Friday. If you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel to keep up with Star Wars news and lore videos every single day, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out my Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.